This is Brother Tomas Cruz, badatbeingcatholic.com. After much study in our heavily cloistered monastery, the brothers at Most Lonely Family Monastery have come to the unfortunate but true conclusion that the Council of Trent is actually a false council for promoting its many heretical ideas, and therefore we must reject the post-Trent counterchurch and all the popes that followed it. Many people try to claim that the Council of Trent teaches the heresy of baptism of desire, and of course this is false, as we have proven in our 3-hour-long video on the true meaning of the Latin word ought. However, it is unfortunately true that this quote council still clearly teaches a very similar heresy in Session 14, Chapter 4. This section explains how one may receive the forgiveness of personal sins, even mortal sins, outside the sacrament of confession. Council of Trent, Session 14, Chapter 4, quote, "The Synod teaches moreover that although it sometimes happen that this contrition is perfect through charity and reconciles man with God before this sacrament be actually received, the said reconciliation, nevertheless, is not to be ascribed to that contrition, independently of the desire of the sacrament which is included therein," end quote. This is, of course, the same exact error as, quote, baptism of desire, which is why this idea of, quote, perfect contrition, aka confession of desire, should also be rejected. The idea that sacraments can be received by desire is heretical. It is also clearly yielding to the Protestant, quote, reformers who push the belief that one should simply confess their sins directly to God and without any need for the sacraments or ministerial priesthood. Those who say otherwise are simply John 20:23 mockers. What's even more blatantly erroneous about this council is that it actually contradicts itself. Council of Trent, Session 14, Canon 6, quote, "If anyone denieth either that sacramental confession was instituted or is necessary to salvation of divine right, or saith that the manner of confessing secretly to a priest alone, which the Church hath ever observed from the beginning, and doth observe, is alien from the institution and command of Christ, and is a human invention, let him be anathema," end quote. So we can see that this quote council says in one place that sacramental confession via the priesthood instituted by Christ is necessary for salvation, but then says in another place that personal sins can be forgiven before the sacrament is actually received. A true council by the true Church would not make such an obvious contradiction. So in summary, this idea is a complete novelty that did not exist in any magisterial teaching prior to this, quote, council, and thus all true Catholics must reject it. But this is not the only error of this quote council. This council also attempts to silence our monastery 400 years before it even began. Council of Trent, Session 5, "In the monasteries also of monks, let there be in like manner a lecture on sacred scripture where this can be conveniently done, wherein of the abbots be negligent, let the bishops of the places, as the delegates herein of the Apostolic See, compel them thereto by suitable remedies." This is clearly an attempt to delegitimize our monastery because we focus our efforts on making YouTube videos. Of course, this false council fails to realize that in the time of the great apostasy, we are not required to pray the daily office if doing so allows us to make videos that will save souls. In another place, this quote council says, "The metropolitans shall not fail to assemble a synod, each in his own province, least every 3rd year, at which council all the bishops and others, who, by right or custom, ought to be present thereat, shall be absolutely bound to assemble." This is, of course, the error of synodality that we see infecting the counterchurch of today. This false council also makes a disgusting endorsement of no-fault divorce when it said, quote, "If anyone saith that the Church errs in that she declares that for many reasons a separation may take place between husband and wife in regard to bed and with regard to cohabitation for a determinate or for an indeterminate period, let him be anathema," end quote. How can these dishonest, quote, Catholics and false traditionalists claim that this council is legitimate after seeing our material? Finally, we want to bring your attention to the heretical, quote, Tridentine Mass. Many false traditionalists sing high praises for this, quote, liturgy, but many of them are blinded to the many inherent problems. Here is Archheretic Bishop Fillet celebrating this, quote, Mass. Did you see that? Let's play that again. Many false, quote, traditionalists like to point out that the, quote, Novus Ordo replaced genuflections to the Blessed Sacrament with simple bows, and while they are right about this being a distortion of true liturgy, this is also true of the, quote, Tridentine Mass. And to be absolutely clear, Bishop Fillet is not deviating from the rubrics or attempting some sort of liturgical abuse here. The rubrics for the, quote, Tridentine Mass is for the priest to merely bow rather than genuflect when passing the tabernacle at multiple points during the Mass. Men of goodwill who have eyes to see and ears to hear will see that this robber council created a false counter-church when every bishop in the world accepted it universally. Please visit our website, the only place where the true Catholic faith can be found. We only post the most engaging and important information that is crucial for your salvation. Please also consider making a donation, as we are in the process of raising funds to replace the heated floor system in our basketball court. I've been trying to get Brother Superior Michael to replace them for 2 years now, but he keeps saying that we can't afford it due to how much we already spend on Ezekiel bread.